David Leland, why don't you give us a little more background on yourself and why you believe you're going to be able to offer up a unique perspective on this project?
Okay. Well, I've been in the real estate industry all my career, from fresh out of college to the present. So I've been in one form of real estate advisory or development for 48 years. I was educated in the fields of architecture, city planning, and urban economics. I've been involved either as a supervisor or as a worker on over 3,000 projects all over the country, including offshore other countries, Middle East, Canada, Mexico, etc., Latin America. I ran a very large mixed-use, multi-state development company in the 80s for a Fortune 500. Grew it from scratch to about 160 million in assets in the mid-80s in 3 years, which is a rather aggressive accomplishment. That's a lot of money in those days. And then I've been my own developer. In fact, I'm building a project in Mexico at the moment with a Mexican partner. So I've been on both the development side and I've been on the public side, and I've been an operator. I've financed projects, and I think I have a good working knowledge of how the investment community and how developers think. And at the same time, over 50%, well today, close to 80% of our clients are public clients. So we're pretty well positioned, and I do a lot of public-private partner negotiations and deal structuring. Work very closely with the design community. Is that sufficient, or would you like a little bit more?
No, that sounds great. I guess the one question is just how you see all that experience being particularly unique for this project. Well, the
HemisFair project is it's a redevelopment for one thing. It's a mixed use. It's going to be multi-phase. In all likelihood, it will have multiple participants in terms of implementation. Public-private partnering will play, I think, a significant role in it. And so there's an attitude and there's a philosophy about approaching a project like that. I'm a firm believer that implementation begins on the very first day of the project, and that design, finance, and market need to constantly be linked together, and particularly so when we're looking at great invention and out-of-the-box thinking. We want to make sure that we can finance these projects, that they can be implemented, and so on. So I think what I bring to it, and what my team brings to it, is an understanding of how to get complex projects built, how to serve the public interest at the same time as having feasible projects for the private sector, making sure they're financeable, making sure they make sense in the marketplace. And so part of it's attitude, but a lot of it's experience combined with that.
Right. So tell me a little bit about some of your insights and experience regarding the outreach and project communication process.
Okay. Well, first of all, there are a lot of publics, and different publics, and I use the plural. There are publics involving the entire community. There are publics that involve a very close-knit, relatively confidential group of financiers or investors who would prefer to operate more or less confidentially, and yet all of those parties are key to implementation. One of the things we've learned over the years is and I've learned this from the Urban Land Institute, where I've had a fairly significant role over a couple of decades, is 35 years ago, they developed a process as part of their advisory panels, and I've had the privilege of chairing a number of them and participating in more. One of the things they do is early in the process is conduct a series of 25 to 60 confidential interviews in groups of 2 to 4 people, and they're confidential in the sense that people are from all walks of leadership within the community, not just business, but the culture, the arts, education, the religious community, neighborhood activists. We try to get a cross-section, and we ask them to be candid, and in return, we ask them, we assure them that their particular comments will not be quoted or tied to them. And what we're really doing is mining for patterns, and they're patterns that frequently will not come forward in a large public session simply because some people are uncomfortable associating a comment with their particular voice. Several things happen as a result of this, is that we learn an immense amount about ideas, ideals, hopes, but also concerns. It gives us an insight into the community that you can't always get in a very large public setting. And that's not to minimize the public involvement on a large scale. It's just to say this is another set of the publics that need to be addressed. I think the other thing that it does is that it creates a buzz on the street almost instantly amongst the leadership corps that says the city of the city of San Antonio has hired a competent group of people and they know what they're doing. So you create enthusiasm at the same time that you create information for the team. I can go on and on. We've done this over 40 times for the 80+ cities where we've been the strategic advisor for redevelopment, and it's a very successful process.
Sounds great.
It has to be coupled with traditional stakeholder outreach as well.
Right, right.